Alex Jones Show, because there is a war on for your mind.
We're now only 32 days out from the historic seating of the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. But the powers of globalism are pulling out all the stops to try to stop that. I'm Alex Jones, your host. Thank you so much for joining us today. You know, a lot of historians have pointed out that when they go back and talk to the people that lived through incredible historic events, most people didn't recognize it at the time. And what I've noticed is we'll raise the alarm bell about the private Federal Reserve or about Obamacare being a ripoff or about how the globalists plan to open up our borders. And we'll tell people many years before it happens because we're reading it out of establishment white papers or watching meetings on C-SPAN. Most of this isn't even secret. It's just not widely publicized. The globalists pretty much operate out in plain view. But it's so academic what they do, the average person isn't concerned because they're too busy, again, watching the NFL or going shopping. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. But if you want to be free, you've got to be informed and you've got to be focused and you've got to be aware of what's happening. And so much of what we've covered years before has now taken place. And so, yes, people that pay attention, our credibility with them has gone up dramatically. But for those that don't pay attention, it's still somewhat of a novelty. And the mainstream media just kind of makes a joke about us. The standard joke is, oh, Alex Jones, he's the guy that believes in chupacabras and Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and flying saucers. We don't cover any of those subjects. But when they attack us on The Daily Show or CNN or Vice on HBO or in Rolling Stone magazine or the New York Daily News or the LA Times, it just doesn't matter. They just say, Alex Jones believes that blood-drinking lizards run the world. They don't even have the right person. And the reason they're doing that is to try to psychologically inoculate their viewers into disbelieving and not trusting a straw man that they've built. A great example of this was about 3 weeks ago, NPR. And then publications across the United States began to run a quote where I was talking about Hillary being personally responsible for the rape and murder of thousands of children in Syria by knowingly sending in jihadi ISIS Al-Qaeda forces who routinely engage in the type of behavior. And the clip's only 1 minute, 18 seconds long. It's completely self-contained. It's very clear that I'm talking about the Middle East and North Africa, but they take it and cut the front and the end off to deceive their viewers and to deceive their listeners and to deceive their readers. And that works sometimes, but once viewers and listeners have caught them doing it a few times, they don't have any trust anymore. When I was in a restaurant today with some of the crew and having a meeting, kind of a Christmas brunch, because we don't have a big Christmas party this year. We just kind of take each department out. And as I was walking to the bathroom and back, two guys said, oh, it's Alex Jones that believes Hillary is chopping up children in the basement of a pizza place. And I looked at him and I said, that's right, and Bigfoot's helping her. Because they were laughing, wanting to have a false victory over me, and I just laughed with them at me because I was really laughing at the fact that they're still under mind control, or they think it's going to intimidate me laughing at me. See, I know what I said. I know where my integrity lies. And because people want to have simulated victories in their heads, that's their problem. I've changed the world. I've put out many of the modern talking points that are counter to globalism. I sit there and hear Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, you name it, imitating me, not the other way around. I've changed the world. I've had a big effect. And I don't say that from some position of a power trip. I say that from a position to listeners to understand how much power we have in a world of universal deceit. Telling the truth is a revolutionary and seismic and very, very powerful act, to paraphrase and expand on the words of Eric Blair, a.k.a. George Orwell. But that said, let me get into the big news today. And I want everybody to listen to me very, very carefully because we saw this coming in 1996 because I would read trade publications from the big internet consortium meetings, and I was also being advised by former and current members of the National Security Agency who had become contractors with telecoms. And they said, hey, kid, you're crazy enough to tell the truth? Let me tell you how things really work. Some of them were public, some of them were private. One was James Bamford, former Nightline head producer. The other was Wayne Madsen, but others were private. And that's why if you go back to those shows from 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, right up to 2006, when mainstream media started admitting some of the NSA spying, I told you exactly how the NSA worked, the name of the programs, how they were controlling and predicting the future with the information, how they were manipulating trends, how it was basically mass culture control. And the first time I was talking to one of these big NSA engineers, and he was a wealthy guy, so he'd obviously had a lot of patents and things himself. He said, Alex, have you read the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov? And I said, yes. He said, oh, really? Most people haven't. You know, he coined the term robot, and he coined the robot rules and all that. He goes, have you read it? He goes, have you read the series? I said, yes. He goes, good, then you understand the actual plan. That was an envisioned plan by the Fabian socialist 50 years before Isaac Asimov wrote it. He goes, you're familiar with the fact that they have basically programming in the science fiction. Predictive programming is what it's called, so people accept things when they come in the future. And I said, yes. And he said, listen, look into it. That's the plan with the NSA grid. Now, if you read the Foundation series, a mathematician envisions in the near future, it was like in the 2020s or so, if I go from memory, that they would come up with a math algorithm to predict mass movements of populations if you could data feed their activities into major data banks. And then they went out and they hired all the Eagle Scouts and all the big brainiacs in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s to try to create it once the computers were up to the technological level they needed. Where do you think Michael Bloomberg comes from and his $46 billion? Data mining terminals into the NSA to get all the businesses to pay for, quote, intel, but the businesses actually give intel, which is then data mined into the larger NSA grid. So just like you think you're getting info from Google, it's getting 1,000 times more info from you. So you think the Palantir, which is a real NSA system, is a one-way crystal ball. Why should we be afraid to use it? Because others are lost, and Sauron may be using it, and Gandalf throws the cloak over it. So, see, you're looking into a Palantir, it's looking right back at you, using a child's allegory. So all of that said, when I come back, it's now not my analysis, it's not my prediction, it is now fact of how they're going to censor the web, how they're going to shut it down in the final phases of ending free speech in the United States and Europe. Now, in Europe, they already arrest you if you mildly criticize Islam, leftists, anybody else. They're now doing $500 or announcing £500, third time's a charm, 500 euro, excuse me. No teleprompter here, going from memory. 500 euro fines for, quote, fake news, which is defined by George Soros consortiums that will simply go through all of the information and then basically start finding and feeding you and then finally removing you off the internet because you're going to have an internet social score, which once it gets to a certain point, you're then kicked off the web and ostracized from the new technocracy. See, they get you in a technocracy, they make all commerce and jobs reliant on technocracy, then they remove you from technocracy. Remember, a year ago, the Chinese came out and said, we're going to have social network scores for citizens. This is the new system of control. Well, when we come back, Communist China, the evidence is clear, is now launching hack attacks against Infowars.com, and it gets worse. They're also openly running the rollout of censorship of, quote, fake news in the United States. It's so sensational. Infowars has more than 15 YouTube channels and about 3 million subscribers. Our main channel has 1.854 or 1,854,000 plus subscribers. Now, they've been gaming the system for a long time to shut down nationalistic or patriotic media. saying we're right-wingers, saying we're extremists. Well, it doesn't matter who we are. We have a right to free speech, don't we? As long as we don't violate the rules. Well, now Zuckerberg has come out and said he's going to restrict conservative news like communist China does, calling it fake news. And Google, that owns YouTube, has announced, and they've done it now 2 weeks ago, that they're going to basically make you click the bell in your notifications. We're going to show you how to do that, or you won't get all the channels that you've subscribed to, and you won't get the videos. Now, why are they doing this? It's more than just censoring. They want you to see the videos that they feed you below and beside the videos you're looking at that are corporately sponsored so they make more money. They're taking the you out of YouTube. So we're in this information war, and it's more important than ever that you promote the videos, that you like the videos, and that you send them on to others. Because the answer to the attempt to shut us down and restrict free speech that's openly now happening is for us to redouble our efforts. We're winning the culture war as true classical liberals that made this country great. We're restoring the Renaissance. So again, if you want to get our videos, so you can make your decision whether you want to see them or not. After all, that's why you subscribed. YouTube's had this since they started 12 years ago or whatever it was. And they're fundamentally changing it so you don't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is promoting fake news and trash news and establishment news. It's killing real independent news. But we the people, by taking action, can break the back of this system. So please, click on the bell so you get the notifications and so you get in your feed the videos and channels you've subscribed to. I'm Alex Jones for Infowars.com. Right through December 17th, the last day that we can guarantee you'll get your order before Christmas in the United States, we're offering store-wide free shipping. And on top of that, some of the biggest discounts of the year. 30% off Living Defense Parasite Cleanse. 50% off colloidal silver bullet, and free shipping. That is just an incredible deal. Brain Force Plus, now with 20% more in each bottle and 30% off. $19.95, can't beat that deal. Winter Sun, Vitamin D3, 25% off. Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine, again an amazing 30% off. BioTrue Selenium, 30% off, and that's just some of the specials. Check them out today at InfoWarsStore.com or InfoWarsLife.com, or call toll free. The great crew will answer your questions, tell you about some of the other specials, and take your order if you'd like. 888-253-3139.